Happy Tuesday, everyone. Thank you for joining me. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make lovely and quirky hand embroidery patterns and kits. And I'm here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time, where we relax and we craft and we work on a project together and just hang out and chit chat. So today, guys, we are going to continue on the Charming Chevrons quilt by Krista Quilts. Krista Watson of Krista Quilts. We took a break from cutting our diagonals and pressing our half square triangles and trimming them yesterday. We took a break from that to sew together what we already had done. So we have a pile of half chevrons here. So ultimately, we'll have this side of the chevron and then we'll have this second side of the chevron. So we'll be making kind of zigzags, like a zigzag quilt. Right now I am working through the pile to make the one direction of zigzags. And then we have a second pile that will make the second round of zigzags. So we sewed those little half chevrons together last night, and we ran out of our finished half square triangles. So now I gotta finish some more half square triangles. So what we're doing with these, we have two squares, and we've drawn a diagonal line down the just one of the diagonals, and then we've sewn on either side of it 1/4 of an inch. So now what we're going to do tonight is I have a whole stack of these. These are all the ones that I want to go that one direction eventually, but we need to make them into half square triangles. So I'm going to cut down the diagonal, and then we'll have two triangles. But then when we open them up, since we've sewn the next to that diagonal, we'll get a half square triangle on that side, and we'll get a half square triangle on this side as well. So we'll get 2 half square triangles, and then we have to trim them so they're all nice and pretty. So that is what we're going to be doing tonight. Again, we've done this a few nights, and we just kind of rack up the half square triangles from the stack, and once we got a little pile going again, then we'll have a day like we did yesterday where we sew the 2 halves together to make a little chevron. Oop, they're getting away from me there. But yeah, so see, here's one of the half square triangles, and then here's the matching half square triangle. And just from how we've rotated them, we get this like half chevron. So tonight, again, we'll get the half square triangles. Grab the guy that fell on the floor there, and that is the plan. So I will flip you around and we'll get going. Be sure to check out the Charming Chevrons quilt pattern. I have it available as a link in the Facebook post here. And if you're watching eventually here on the YouTube replay, I'll have the link in there as well. But I encourage you to work on this project with us. It's a great beginning quilt, especially if you're a little nervous about half square triangles or sewing triangles, and it just ends up being just a fun, sweet quilt from just basically sewing the same block over and over again, the half square triangles. And we'll be here a while doing it. It takes time to make all these, so there's plenty of time for you to join in for sure. So all right, guys, I'm gonna flip you around for reals and we'll get going. Alrighty. Back to my little pressing and cutting station for the night. Let's see if we can set it up here well. Okay, so like I showed you here, we've drawn already our pencil line down the diagonal and sewn on either side of it 1/4 inch. And now we're gonna just cut down the diagonal, and I'm gonna do all 3 parts at once. So we're gonna cut, then we'll press the same one, and then we'll trim them to size. They need to be 4.5 inches, like my 4.5 inch ruler here. And then we'll set them aside. And I want to, instead of cutting all the diagonals first on my whole stack, I want to do each part because I want to keep these piles together. I want to keep both halves together because it takes the 2 halves together, like the same colors, to make a chevron. So I don't want to accidentally mix it all up. So I'm going to be careful to keep them together. All right, let's start. I need my longer ruler for the diagonal. Yes, so I've seen there's like a bunch of people working on this project, and some of you are showing it in our Penguin and Fish Crafters group on Facebook, and they are turning out so sweet. Like, it's all so interesting how just a few different fabrics just totally change the feel of a project. Like, you know, there's like, I know someone in the group is making one that has a really dark background color, and that just looks super striking. And then someone else is doing like a pretty, like a periwinkle blue for the background, and oh man, it just looks so sweet. And you know, it's even like a patterned background. So it's just really neat to see all the variations. So I encourage you to check out our Penguin and Fish Crafters group to see some of what people got going on. It's really kind of fun. All so different, same exact pattern. All it is half square triangles, and they all look different. So we're pressing these open, the seam allowance open, and that's, in theory, that'll reduce the bulk when we are sewing our half square, or sewing, or not sewing, doing our machine quilting, our free motion quilting. So the free motion quilting is one of my main reasons for wanting to work on this quilt. I have not done free motion quilting before. That's where you hold down your quilt, and instead of just sewing straight lines to hold the quilt together, you put decorative, pretty stitches, and the machine needle is just going, and you have to move like you're drawing the design. And so I have not done that before, other than like a little practice test swatch. And I wanted to do this quilt as basically a learning tool, or a try and get better tool for free motion quilting. And, you know, as far as this piecing, the actual making of the quilt here, the piecing of the quilt, I really wanted to use some of my favorite fabrics that I've been hoarding forever. So, all right, that was the pressing part. So we cut the diagonal. Now we've pressed the seams, the two half square triangles we got out of it. We've pressed it open. One last step, and that will be trimming them to the 4.5 inches. And these we have just enough to trim down. And I want these all trimmed exactly perfectly the same, because that's what's going to give us our chevrons that are all exactly the same, which will help us sew everything together later. Oh, Bonnie, I am totally loving the teapot. So I was talking a couple days ago, I don't know if I had it yet, but I was talking about how I wanted a tea kettle, an electric tea kettle, instead of a stovetop one, something that I could just press a button and water would heat up, and then I could just make some tea or whatever else. I don't know, there's always a barrier for me drinking tea, or, you know, sometimes you just want something special to drink. And I thought maybe this would help get me to drink more tea in the evening. And it totally has. I love it so much. So I finally found one. It took like a good Amazon search, because I wanted one that was really cute, and I don't know, they're not all that cute. And then you read the reviews, and then the ones you thought were cute have like all sorts of problems and stuff with them. So it took longer than I thought to find that one that I like. And it's not gigantic either. I wanted it kind of small. How many cups will it heat? I am not sure. It can, if we have like 2 large cups of tea, so I don't know the actual measurements, but it'll get us like 2 large cups of tea, and maybe just a little bit more, which is perfect. Some of them that we saw, my husband and I, were just huge. Like, they put a lot more water, or they held a lot more water, but we didn't need,
you know, we didn't need to serve like 8 people at a party or something. So we just needed it to do that little amount. And I love it. It's perfect. It's got that gooseneck spout. So far, loving it. Oh, and my husband made me a pour over coffee with it today. And man, that was a special treat. So far, 2 thumbs up. All right, so now we got these 2 perfectly cut out. I've been rearranging them in the direction that I want the chevron to go, and then I've just been taking the bottom one and putting it up on the top one. This is just so that when I am ready to sew, all of them will be the same, and I can just take the one down, fold it, and then sew along that line. I just want to keep everything as equal as possible, like each step, so I'm not rearranging and stuff as I sew. Like, the less I have to use my brain later, the better. So I'm just trying to set up systems to make it easier for me. All right, so that's the 3 steps. We're gonna go on to the next one. I think it actually holds a liter, but compared to the other ones that said they held a liter, this one seems a whole lot smaller. So it's nice and cute because I wanted to sit on the counter too. I didn't want it to be this huge thing that took up the entire counter. So I'm totally happy with it so far. But yeah, I mean, if we ever needed to warm more than 2 big cups of tea, then we'd have to like put more water in it and start it up again. But it, you know, it does its thing in like 2 minutes or less. It's pretty quick. So I'm stoked. I love it. And then the nice thing, because it has that gooseneck spout, is if like I only made 1 cup of tea or something, like I will probably do later, there'll be water left over. And so in the morning, I can just water the plants with what's left in the kettle. So I'm liking it. It's my new toy. Little electric tea kettle. Oh man, we've been dealing with the snow today though. So you know how I was telling you last night that it was snowing and my husband had been out like 4 hours snow blowing? We got 12 inches of snow in one sitting last night, or yesterday. And it was a lot of snow. Some places in the area got 17 inches of snow, which is nuts. But it all kind of happened, like the big part of it happened during rush hour. So the big story today for our local news, yep, Gretchen 12. The big story today was that a bunch of kids got stuck at school waiting for the school bus, and a bunch of them got stuck on the school bus. And some of them were stuck on the school bus for 7 hours. So like 7 hours after getting on the school bus to go home, and they're still stuck on the school bus because it's rush hour in this horrible snow, and they're getting stuck and no cars are going anywhere. Like everywhere is just stopped, but like these little kids on the school bus. So that's the not cool news from town today. And then some were stuck at school, but at least they were at school then, and teachers just stayed because they can't just leave kids there. Oh yeah, the buses probably have heat, and you know, if they're in there, they're all bundled up and stuff too. And it wasn't actually cold. I mean, it was cold, but it wasn't like -0 or anything like that. But yeah, that's not cool. Well, Joyce, that is what of course, that's the first thing that came to my head. Like, where are these little kids going to the bathroom then if they're stuck on this bus? But I guess one of the stories was like one of the teachers, like there was a teacher on one of these buses, and ooh, that's pretty. He got off the bus and walked to a pizza place next door or something and ordered pizza for the kids that he knew, you know, could eat pizza, and brought it back on the bus, and you know, he knew he could do that because the bus didn't move at all. Yeah, I think we must have, they must have heat on those buses. But yeah, parents were not happy today, to say the least. The St. Paul schools, I think in Minneapolis, I think they were all mostly shut down yesterday. So this was in St. Paul, which is, you know, just next door to us. But yeah, ugh, I just can't imagine being stuck on a school bus for 7 hours. And they're little kids, like these little kids that don't know any better, like why they're stuck on the bus. Ugh. They're getting flack, the superintendent or whoever, but, you know, he's like, you know, at the time, I thought it was going to be okay and whatever. And, you know, in the morning, it was like nothing was happening. And, you know, it was a weird system. So like I said, some people in the neighboring towns got like 17 inches. I think that was the most. But some got nothing. So I mean, like, it just really was a weird band, and you had to be like right in it to get anything. So he was thinking, based on what the morning was like or something, I don't know what they base it on, but they were thinking they'd be all fine. But the worst of it came right when everyone had to leave, like rush hour and stuff. So it took everyone like 2+ hours to get home. My husband was working at in town, and he can leave, you know, whenever. He works from home here, but he saw it getting worse and worse, so he left around 1-ish, and still took him forever to get home. But like everyone else who had to leave, you know, between 3 to 5 during the rush hour times, it was just they just, you know, were full stop for hours. Oh gosh, it was so beautiful, Joe. I totally agree. And it's still really pretty outside right now. And it's warm, like it's warmish out, so it'll melt some in the next couple days. I think it's supposed to be cold again on the weekend, but we're supposed to get up to 40 again. And so I'm sure a bunch of it'll melt, but ooh, I bet you it's perfect snowman snow today. I'm gonna have to go out there tomorrow, and maybe we'll have to try and make a snowman. Because it's that wet, you know, it's kind of warm, so it's that wet snow that's perfect for packing. Oh, look, we got two little characters there. Ooh, and another one hiding there. What else? Just those 3. All right, we got 3 done so far tonight. We'll just keep cruising around. Oh, that happens all the time with the snow and rain in St. Louis. Oh yeah, so it's that heavy, heavy snow too. So I looked out in our backyard today, and we have 3 kind of, they're not pine trees, but they're in the pine tree family. I don't know. I'm not sure what they are. But clearly the kind of pine trees that don't like heavy stuff on them. So a bunch of their branches look like they were going to break off. So tomorrow we're going to have to go check on those. So we might lose a bunch of branches, which is going to be a big bummer because it's just so much snow and it's so heavy. And you know, some pine trees, how it looks like it was meant for snow, like all the branches move downward when there's snow on, like they grow downward. These ones were not like that. They wanted to grow upward, and now they're trying to be forced down. And they're not happy, for sure. They're pretty deformed right now, so hopefully they bounce back, but I don't know. Yeah, 40s by Friday, so I'm hoping that maybe helps the trees a little bit. Get some snow off of there. We'll see what happens. But it is so pretty again. They say that this is the biggest accumulation in all one bout since 2011 by us. And I think that happens to be when we first moved into this house, our first winter here, before we had the snowblower. And we were shoveling just forever and ever this horrible heavy snow that by the time you got 4 feet of shoveling done, there was another inch where you just shoveled. I think that was the year of that. And what's funny about that is, we're like, never again. We're getting a snowblower. We cannot physically do this again. And so we got a snowblower the next year or that year yet or whatever. And I think I was saying this last night, but John was snowblowing last night, and we have a bunch of new neighbors. And they were all shoveling. None of them had a snowblower either. And, so they had basically the same winter that we had our first year coming in here, just one giant snow where you could have shoveled for 8 hours and you wouldn't have been done. So John helped, he snowblowed for those neighbors too, which was super nice. But he was snowblowing like the neighborhood for like 4.5 hours yesterday. He came in and was just exhausted. He just conked out basically. But he was a nice guy yesterday. Yeah, a riding plow. Well, Gretchen, our driveway, what's so funny is our driveway is super small. But, gosh, we have this horrible part in our driveway where it's, our driveway, and then for part of it is our house, but on the other side is our neighbor's garage. So there's like this square section that you can't blow the snow in either direction. So you have to blow it outward, and then you have to blow it again. So it's just not fun. There's nowhere for it to go, so you have to like snow blow it twice. And he hates it. Hates it. Although it's way worse if you have to shovel it by hand and you have to shovel it and then shovel it again. You have to get it out of that area, that square area, before you can move on to the other one. Yeah, now he's like, oh, we need chains for the wheels on the snowblower and all that, just because it was slipping everywhere. And the trials of the snow blowing. And then he just came in drenched. And he said that the neighbor was just had like a t-shirt and just like t-shirt and sweats on because he must have been shoveling for like an hour or something probably. And he was just so warm from shoveling. Because it wasn't that cold out. Well, we just blow it onto the lawn, like in our yard, but we got to get it out of that square where we're blocked in first. But yeah, just onto the lawn. And then, of course, the snowplow comes by and blows a big berm onto the bottom of the driveway, so then you got to redo that part. I think we're kind of cruising on this today. Like we got a little system going a little bit faster than the first few days of us doing this, I think. So this is good. We'll get a bunch more of these today and tomorrow maybe, and then we will sew them into more of those chevrons. But yeah, it's fun to see these chevrons come together for sure. Lining up that diagonal on the ruler again. The diagonal with the diagonal of my triangle, that seam in the middle. Making sure that I got edges all the way around. And man, this this ruler that's the exact size that I need, this 4.5 inches, and this rotating cutting mat together has been so helpful to speed up this process, I think. Just because I can keep the pressure of my hand on here and then just rotate versus like fidgeting with it and having it slip, the ruler slip, or having to replace the ruler, reline up the ruler on one nice edge, one nice corner or something. This is really sped it up. Yeah, and again, if you guys are working on this, or just, you know, whatever you're working on, I love to see anything that you're working on, whether it's knitting or quilting or embroidery, whatever it is. I'd love to see a pic over in our Penguin and Fish Crafters group. It's a nice group of people there and supportive people, and where we can just share what we're working on and check things out. But yeah, I think, yeah, Gretchen, I think this system is coming together. And the other nice thing is that I have my cutting board here and my ironing board right here, so I'm not like walking across the room to press it. Although that now that I think of it, that wouldn't be half bad either, because I could just cut all the diagonals and then press them all and then come back and trim them all. The reason I'm doing it this way, though, is that I want to make sure that I keep the two halves together. I don't want to accidentally mix them all up. But yeah, you could do that, though. You could do the entire process of one step, like cutting the diagonals, and then one process of the next step, pressing all these guys, and then the process of the next, just trimming them all down. Oh, Gretchen, oh, that makes me so happy. I'm really glad that it's Penguin Fish Crafters is a truly inspiring group for you. That's awesome. I love it. But yeah, I just, you know, it's so cool to see what you guys are working on, and especially, you know, when you're working on one of the projects that we're doing here in the evenings, just to see all the variations, like, that never fails to fascinate me, how the same design can end up being so different and just like equally as interesting and cute and fun, and when each person does it. It's kind of like a little magic trick of crafting, I think. All right, guys, I gotta lose the sweater. I can tell it's definitely not below 0 anymore, because gets steamy in here by the iron. And if it's that -degree weather, then I'm still kind of chilly in this room here. All right, again, lining that diagonal. Get some pressure on there. Oh, and just because it's been asked before, I am standing. I'm standing directly over, like my head is directly over my hand here, so I can give even pressure on the ruler here. I don't want it sliding around, and I think if I was sitting down, I wouldn't be able to put pressure. It'd be hard. Like, I'd have to, right here I can just lean over and pressure is going to go on. If I had to reach and press down, I think that would be kind of hard on the arms and the hands and stuff. So I am standing directly above where I'm cutting here. All right, on the diagonal. And another little thing, I know we've talked about this. You might see me backtrack a little here and then go up again. This is something I learned from you guys. Tip that I learned here during the Splendid Sampler. I used to just start at the bottom of my ruler here and go up, but sometimes that would nick the end of my ruler here, like I'd miss. When I was doing it just now, it was pushing my fabric up a little bit. If you need to cut something that's right on an edge of like a straight edge, like a right angle like this, if you start up a little bit, so I can press my rotary cutter right against the ruler, then I can go down, cut that little bit, and then go up, and I won't nick the end of the ruler, and my fabric won't be pushed up when I start. And it's safer. Like, I'm not going to accidentally like run off and hit my hand because I missed the edge or something. So I just start a little up, get the end, and then go back up. And once I learned that and the reasons why, that's how I've been doing ever since. It feels natural now. I do it automatically. Oop, there we go, like this. So if we rotate it, both of them like that, then we get the chevron going in the other direction. You know, we could, you know, there's all sorts of designs you can make from half square triangles. So, all right, there we go. Whoop, man, my scrap pile's getting big again. You can tell that I didn't press some of these very well, but that's okay because we'll be doing the pressing right now, and we trim them down and everything either. Oh gosh, Gretchen, me neither. I can't sit down and cut anything. That's how I feel about the pressing and the cutting stage. I always kind of need to stand up, more so for the cutting, but like, I don't know, these are the two most dangerous parts of quilting, I think, when you have to deal with the hot iron and deal with the super sharp rotary cutter blade. And I'm super paranoid, so I need to be like right on top of it. And yeah, it is just way more helpful for the hand. Same with the iron. I mean, that's, if you are holding it out like that, that's gonna put so much stress on your wrist and your forearms and shoulders and everything. If you can just get right above it and let the weight of it do its own thing, where you're not controlling that weight, it's just gravity doing its job, and you don't have to go against gravity, then you're gonna save your joints and your muscles and all that. Flip this open. There we go. That I'm sure there's a trick for that I'm not doing. Maybe I just have to tap it a little bit, and that would open up the seams. I really like this fabric. All right, let's diagonal this guy. And again, another thing, this was my favorite tool on the Splendid sampler, and it's actually, I would still put it in my list of top favorite tools, and it is these True Grip stickers that I've put under the bottom of the ruler. It's these circle like rubber stickers, and I have like the little dots from the center of these on here too. It grips the fabric so well, and the ruler doesn't want to move at all when I shift it, when I try and shift it. And I haven't found anything as good. So I've heard that what is it? What would you call it? Like that doctor's tape stuff. I think I have some here. But that tape, oh, someone here knows, I'm sure. But like that medical tape works. But I got some of that, and it does not grip in the same way. But I think maybe I just got the wrong stuff. Let me see if I can find it here. I usually keep all this stuff near me in my little wall of guys here. Let's see. I might have moved it already. But yeah, I didn't have luck with that. Yeah, Next Care, I think that's what it was, that Next Care tape. I got some of that, and it doesn't have that same gripping properties as these True Grip stickers. Like, I didn't feel like it really stopped my ruler from moving in the same way. So, I don't know. I either got the wrong stuff, or I think the True Grip stickers are way better. I must have put that away already. Oop, I will, I'll see if I can find that in my office, that Next Care stuff, and maybe I'll take a look at it again. But yeah, I did get some, and I don't know. It didn't work like how I was hoping. Still a fan of the True Grips stickers. But yeah, that made the biggest difference for sure in my cutting abilities. Like, I feel like I cut straighter and I'm not as scared to cut anymore. Like, I don't have a fear that my ruler is just gonna veer off and I'll cut something crazy, some crazy excess cut into my fabric and waste a bunch of fabric. I'm not worried about any of that with the True Grip stickers. It's still in the back of my head always because I'm paranoid that I'm gonna do that, but there's a less likelihood of it actually happening compared to before those stickers. And you know, that just speeds things up and stuff too when you don't have to deal with slipping rulers and stuff. All right, I like these black strawberries. They're cute. Cute, cute, cute. Working through this pile, although it doesn't look, it's one of those piles again that you work on forever and it doesn't look like it's any smaller. Those tricky fabric piles always seem to be like that. But eventually we will have a whole pile of perfect little half square triangles here. And then really just having these omni-grid rulers that are just the right size. That's been pretty slick. And I love the markings on these omni-grid ones and this diagonal. That's been great. Yes, don't look at the mountain. I know, I gotta just if I start thinking about something like, oh, I have to have this done by a certain day or something like that, that's when stress comes in. I just need this to be we're working on it, and that's what's happening. And all these little bits of working on it will eventually add up. I'm definitely of that mode. Small amounts of work, cumulatively and consistently adding up. That's how I try and do most things if I can these days. Oh, thanks, Irene. Yeah, I'm definitely loving these fabrics too. And I like the word luscious. That's way better. I've been saying juicy because I can't think of any other word for these fabrics, but luscious, I like that too. Lusciously juicy fabrics. How about that? Oh, Gretchen, you know what? I don't think I've seen any of them either. It's actually been a while since, well, actually we saw Star Wars in the theater, but besides that, I don't go to movies nearly as much as I used to, which, I don't know, maybe we got to start that up again. My husband and I, for a while, were going to Sunday matinees. Actually in summer, because we can walk to the theater. It's like a few miles away, but if we have that in our plan, we can walk there and have a nice summer walk and then watch a movie and have popcorn and then walk home. We were doing that for a while. We're gonna have to get that back going again. That was fun. See more movies. A few of them are on, I think, Netflix and stuff now. Or maybe not Netflix, but we get that, we don't have cable. We only have cable for internet, but but we have we have the Apple TV thing, so we get Netflix on there, and we also get, like the HBO Now, where you only pay for it on the Apple TV sort of thing. You don't have to get all these other stations and stuff with it, just HBO, because gotta watch Game of Thrones. But on there, they have a bunch of movies. So like I know like Get Out is on there right now. I don't know if any of the other ones were on, any of the other Oscar ones. But yeah, there's a whole pile of them that I'd like to do. Oh, last week, I gotta read that. Barbara, after listening to people talk about the lock block rulers, oh, last week you put a double thick row of Nextcare along the diagonal line. Oh, the square ruler, and it looked, oh, that's interesting. So you put a double row on the diagonal here, and that will just give you that edge to bump up against it. I see what you're saying. That's interesting. I like that idea. For me, right now, I'm just liking the diagonal on here. The diagonal line and my True Grip stickers, that'll do the job for now. Still looking at the block or lock block or block lock. I don't remember those rulers though. I'll be here for a while doing these half square triangles, so there's still opportunity to try some other things. All right. There we are. Pretty flowers. I like that. I think that is Mona Luna fabric. I tell it works so I can see out the lock blocks. Yeah, that's cool. Well, that's a good reason. Maybe I'll have to get the Nextcare tape out again just to give that a try. All right, let's open the seam. I hope the snow stays a little while though, because it's pretty. I don't want it to melt all at once. I want to make a snowman this winter yet, so this might be it. This might be the snowman snow. To go out tomorrow afternoon and build a snowman. Then the new neighbors will really think we're crazy. I suppose that's okay. They'll have to learn at some point, right? This is pretty too, this purple, like the pale purple and the bright purple, like a sun print. All right. Yes, a snow kitty. So we that's funny that you remember that, Bonnie. It's actually, oh, maybe it's not on my YouTube. It might be on my husband's YouTube. But a few years ago, this must have been, gosh, I wonder if this was that first snow. So this might have been like almost 10 years ago. God, that's interesting. I'll have to look it up. But we made a huge snowman, but we made it into a snow kitty cat. But that was the type of snow, and that's what I'm hoping that this type of snow is going to be that's currently out there, but it was the type of snow that you can roll it up like a carpet because it stuck together so well that you would roll like a snowball, and it would roll all the way inches down. It would roll up all the way to the grass perfectly. The grass would be clean afterwards. Oh man, that was the best snow. But it's so funny. Like I still laugh when I watch the little video. John took video of it and edited it to get together. He does film stuff. But it makes me laugh because we're holding up these like small snowballs, or like, you know, snowmen size balls, but they're so heavy. But they don't look heavy. They're deceivingly heavy. So it looks like we're struggling with these tiny things, but they're so heavy because it's just like all water in there, like dense water. I don't know, but I just remember them being so heavy. And I remember the part that makes me laugh is John's like, I got like the big bottom snowball going, and then I couldn't push it anymore. It was just too heavy. And so he starts pushing it, but we're trying to get it to the spot, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, rolling up all the way to the grass. And it gets to the point where he got it to where it needs to be, right? But he starts letting go, but it keeps rolling a little bit, like it doesn't stay in its spot, and I can see for a moment, like, the panic on his face, because he's holding up this massively heavy thing, and it's not staying, and then I see the solution. Like, this is all in, like, instance, but, I can tell. It's the panic and then the solution, like, all in the same thing. He just grabs snow that's within reach and just kind of jimmies it underneath the snowball so it stays in its spot. But just that tiny look of panic, and then the solution of just reaching out, holding it up with his body, and then just reaching out for whatever he can grab to like stuff underneath there, just makes me laugh. Oh, a snowman with a hat and pipe, that would be pretty cute. Yeah, maybe we should make a proper snowman this time if the snow is good, instead of a snow kitty. The other thing that makes me laugh about that video is that I'm wearing this old snow winter coat that I had, like for skiing and stuff, like so a poofy coat, but I got it in the 90s and I was still wearing it, but it's like what you would expect from a winter coat in the 90s. So it's super poofy, but it's really short too. So in this video, I keep doing this weird dance, and I'm like, what the heck is this weird dance that I keep doing in every shot? And it's me. I realize that it's me just trying to pull down this coat because my waist keeps getting exposed, and then it gets snow all over it and everything. So it's just me trying to shimmy this coat down lower, but it looks like this awkward, weird dance that I'm doing this entire video. Oh, skating would be fun. I haven't ice skated in a long time, and here in the Twin Cities, they flood out every park that they can get their hands on for ice skating. There's so much opportunity for ice skating, like free ice skating. Should definitely get that happening before it all goes away. I'm sure now it's all covered by snow. They probably have individuals that go shovel it or something. We'll have to check it out. There's one very near us, and then there's like 8 other ones very near us too. But there's one that's walkable, so that might be fun to walk down there, and especially since it's going to be nice the next couple days. Walk down there and see if it's cleared, and maybe do some ice skating. Oh, jeez, Robin. That's so funny. So that's exactly what this snowball was like. Robin was saying, if you can't see her text, that she was, when they were little, they made a big snowball like that, and they were rolling it across the road, but they couldn't get across the road, so they had a 5-foot snowball in the middle of the road, and cars couldn't get around it. That's hilarious. Man, I can totally see that's something that we would have done as kids. We were really good friends with the neighbors, but we had long driveways and stuff, and we always talked that we need to make a tunnel going from one house to the other, like a snow tunnel. That never happened. It'd still be awesome, though. I saw this Facebook post where they took a couple pallets and propped it up, like, something you could crawl under, like 2 sides and a top. And then they let snow get all over it and everything. And then they kind of dug it out, and it was like an igloo. So they had made like this little structure for snow to go around with the pallets. And I'm like, dang, why didn't we think of that when we were kids? That would have been super rad. We would have used that. We would have done that every year, I think. It would have gotten bigger and bigger and more complex, I think. What's funny is this snow that we have now, this 12 inches of snow. This is what my brother and his wife had in North Carolina, literally this much or more snow. And then it melted right away because it was like 60 the next day or something, but still, that's a hefty amount of snow for North Carolina, I'm thinking. And they had it was just after Christmas when they were up by us, and they had left all their winter stuff in Wisconsin. Oh, man. She had a shovel on the porch, but it was just decoration for winter, like cute decoration to have on the porch in North Carolina. She took it out of her decorations because she needed to shovel. Pretty purple. Oh, so they carved a car out of snow. So they carved a car, what looked like a car on the side of the road, and the cops came because it was a snow emergency road. That's funny. Oh man, I could see something like that right now. That's the whole deal now in Minneapolis and St. Paul. What side of the road are you parked on? Because it's snow emergency has been called, which means you can only park on a certain side of the road so they can plow the other side, but it's always a disaster. And like, I don't know how people keep track of it. I mean, there's apps and stuff for it, but oh man, that would confuse me to no end. So, people are getting plowed like crazy, but that'd be funny. There's so much snow that you could probably could make a little car-shaped sculpture on the side of the road, and then the tow truck would come and find out that it was not really a car. That'd be pretty funny. I could see that being on the evening news. Oh man, you remember your farm in southern Minnesota snowdrifts over the garage roof. Whew, man, that's the type of snow that you build a fort in. The kind that drifts way up on the side like that. Gotta I have not done this, but could spray water on it or something, let it freeze, and just carve out a hole or something. I don't know. Maybe that's a dumb idea. That'd probably be pretty heavy. You don't want ice falling on you. Snow is fun. Definitely like when it's heavy and wet, and you can make snowballs out of it. Although the light, airy stuff is pretty too, but something extra fun about this stuff you can mold. Making the snowmen and stuff. Conditions seem like it would be like that with our current snow, so we'll see. I'll have to let you know tomorrow if we made anything out of it. Oh, it was a DeLorean too. The car that they made, that's kind of extra funny. Those are some of our favorite movies, the Back to the Future movies. We'll do a few more of these guys tonight. We got a little stack going. I think after we'll do another stack tomorrow. I think just like how we did the first time, like 2 days worth of a stack, and we'll have some more half chevrons. More half chevrons to make up this week yet. What would be awesome is if we finished this stack this week, but that might be putting unrealistic pressure on this project. Sitting down. I'm not, okay, so Patricia, I'm not sitting down. I'm standing above it. So I'm standing directly above the my cutting mat. Yeah, I don't think I would be able to do this sitting. It just seems too dangerous and kind of rough on the wrists and everything. So yeah, I'm standing above. Oh, well, once you you know, I gotta be well into the at least 50 of these, I would think, or getting there. So once you start getting going at them, then it starts to get faster and faster. So I think if you compare me tonight compared to the first night that we started doing this, I'm probably going at a much faster clip for sure. But yeah, I mean the 4.5 inch ruler with that diagonal. This is the OmniGrid one, that one, and the combo of the True Grip stickers on there so it doesn't move around, it doesn't shift. And then this rotating cutting mat. I do think that that has been a big part of the speed for sure. So I'm saying that's what's making this process. And I'm trying to do it the same way every single time. Like I have this diagonal going that direction. I never have it going this direction because that's changing my system up. If I do it the same every single time, then it starts to get faster and faster. Ooh, this one's a little small. I think it'll be just big enough. If you don't have a lot of seam like this one, it probably means that you're sewing with slightly larger seam allowance than what you should, like slightly larger than a 1/4 inch. So you just want to make sure that you're getting that 1/4 inch seam allowance and not much bigger. Oh, I didn't press this guy open. Let's go back. See, and then, oh, Deborah, yep, you caught me there. Got chit-chan, and then I didn't do the step. So ideally, I would have done this beforehand because pressing can sometimes stretch the fabric, and I already cut this fabric so it was perfect, so I don't want to stretch it out. So I'm being a little careful not to pull on it, but I think we'll be okay. But that's one reason that you want to press before you cut, so everything stays nice and square. Ooh, we haven't had this fabric in a while. This is that pretty blue dot, or that kind of turquoisey. Oop, geez, I missed a little bit down here. Blade might be getting a little fuzzy again. Yeah, like when I started, I was pressing this way, and oh, maybe this is easier. Oh no, and I think I discovered that pressing this way and holding this up was a little bit easier for me, so I've started going in that direction. And just like little things, testing little micro changes, and whichever one feels the best and is the fastest, then making that change. And after you've made a few of those changes, then the whole process, the whole assembly line gets a little faster. Oh, well, oftentimes, Deborah, that's why I'll all of a sudden stop talking when I am cutting, or when I'm trying to sew a straight line, because all of a sudden my brain needed all the concentration it had to cut with the sharp blade or sew a straight line. But my phone is in between. It's like right here, so it's in between my my face, like halfway in between my face and the board here. So I'm inherently being able to read because I kind of have to look past my phone to do this. And I can see the motion of a new comment come on, so I can glance quick. And I don't know, so far I'm not missing too much, I hope. If I am missing like a question or something, just feel free to ask it again. It's probably just because I didn't see it. Get that diagonal. Yeah, this is getting pretty fuzzy. I'm gonna wipe it off again soon. I have a little towel here. I mean, we're doing a ton of cutting, so, and it's all different fabrics. Like some of these fabrics might just want to fuzz up more than the other fabrics. So getting a fuzzy rotary cutter. All right, I think we'll do one more for tonight. We're already a little over. I lost track of my clock again here. Got chit-chatting. But we'll do one more, and then we'll stop for the night. I don't have a good set rule for when I change my rotary cutter, Patricia. Sometimes when I know I'm starting a new project and I know there's going to be a lot of cutting, then I will switch the blade. Like for this project, before I started this, I switched it. Actually, I think we did it for a day before I switched it because I forgot the first day. But I did switch it for this project. I usually, once it starts skipping a thread or two here and there, or it can't cut through as many layers, then I'll switch it out. It makes such a big difference though to have a new blade. Like when all of a sudden it just cuts like butter, it's the best. So I'm hoping I can make it through this project. I mean, we do have a lot of cutting yet, but I'd like to hopefully not change it until the end of this project. But I definitely think I'll need to after this, because this is quite a lot of cutting. We'll see. I know it's been skipping every once in a while. I think that might just be more from the fuzz that's getting all over it than the blade being bad. So if it's good again, once I wipe it off, then I'll keep going. But if we get to a point, skipping wood cutting, that's your signal too, Deborah. That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah. So if it starts skipping and if I start getting super annoyed, then that's when I'll switch the blade. I don't know what to do with my old blades yet either. I just have whenever I get a new packet, I usually try and get them in like packs of 10. If you can find them. Sometimes they come in packs of 2, but I rarely get them in packs of 1. I get them in multiple packs if I can, or multiple blades to a pack. And I have several of those little packs. And one, I take a Sharpie and I write old on one, and that's where I put all the old blades when I'm done with them. And then I write new on the good blades yet, so I know immediately what are my good blades and what are my bad blades. I don't know, in my brain, somehow I'll sharpen these blades. I don't know why I'm saving them, but I'm accumulating old blades for some reason. Oh, well, if you don't want to start the chevron quilt yet, all these videos will be up on YouTube forever, so you can always give it a go later. And we will be working on it for a really long time yet. And I might do a little project in between us finishing the top and the quilting. I think we'll do a smaller project in between, so you might have some time to pick it up then. So I'm just going to wipe off this blade again too, but here you can already see all the red all over it. I'm just going to kind of wipe it on here. I'm going to open it up too, and I don't want my hands near it, but there, I think that might help a little bit. There, we cleaned it off a hair. Oh yeah, you could cut wrapping paper or something. I have not used it for paper. You can use old blades for paper. I would write big on here, paper, then if that was the case. But yeah, I haven't tried that yet, but I know that's a thing for sure. That's what I could do with them. All right, so we got all these done tonight. So I'm hoping tomorrow we'll get like another stack like this going. Look at, we still have a pretty good stack going. Although the stack, you know, here's the other side. So it is about, you know, I think we're over halfway with the one direction. We still have to do that whole other stack for the other direction, but we'll get there. So, all right, guys, I'm going to flip you around, and we will call it an evening. Hey there again, everyone. Thanks again for joining me. I know we stayed a little later tonight, so thanks for bearing with me. Here are the half square triangles for tonight. I have them all grouped in their pairs. And yeah, we'll just let those be, and we'll have another day like this tomorrow, where we can just chit chat and cut more diagonals and trim some more squares out. It's relaxing. It is relaxing doing the same motion over and over again. And I do like the idea of, ooh, what are the minute little things I can change to maybe make this go faster? And that's been kind of fun. So I think I'm in a rhythm now, and we'll just keep going on these. And again, feel free to share in the Penguin and Fish Crafters group. I'd love to see what you're working on, especially if you're working on this project. Fun to see all those little chevrons coming along. All right, guys, thanks again. I will catch you guys tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. Have a great evening. Good night.